Hey, y'all, this is one for the wisdom of the books. Remember I said the books have been opened and I have been given some of the information, not all, but some of it. And as I'm given permission to share, I will definitely share it in the Patreon because it really, really, really gives us some insight on the planet, the universe, humanity, the beings that watch over humanity. There's so much. I can go in 5 different directions and give y'all tons of information that you have never even heard before. So let me just start with the service to self path and the service to others path, which I break that down because of the law of one. And I explain how I've explained in the past too, how the service to others path seems like it's the easy path. That's the path that the negative entities lure you with because they really want you to stay as long as you possibly can. Like their whole objective in the game, even though they're still a part of the divine plan, the grand design, they're everybody's playing their part, but they're still, at the end of the day, everybody still works for the light. Okay? So their whole objective is to get you off the path. Like the straight and narrow path that goes straight back to source. Their whole objective is to lure you away by carnal desires and by your animalistic animalistic desires and feeding into those passions and all of that stuff. Lust, power, gluttony, all of the 7 sins. They lure you away from the straight and narrow path back to source because that's their job. Okay. And I've told people before that even though it may seem like the masses and all these people who are just living their life and having, living their best life right now, having a good old time and not paying attention to the service to others path, which is the right hand path, they're going to be here. They're going to come back and do it all over again. And then if they don't get it, they're going to do it all over again. And at the end of the day, it may feel good to the flesh, but to the soul, it's the long, hard road. And it's the road that takes you outside of the way. Like I mentioned, when I used to be talking about, I think it was Moses, where they walked around in the wilderness for 40 years because they was following behind the wrong person spiritually. And they tapped into their own higher guidance. Some of them probably would have left and went on, found paradise on their own, instead of walking around 40 years on a trip that really took 3 days on foot. So that was essentially telling you what this spiritual path is about. You can go around and around in the wilderness for 40 years in circles, or you can follow your higher guidance and get right to it and take the quick, narrow road, the narrow path, the road that's least traveled, because it's not about self. It's about putting self on the back burner and putting others first and then you. And a lot of people can't do that because guess why? Because they ego driven, and that's what the negative entities know. So anyway, let me go ahead and read this real quick. This is again from the wisdom of the books. That's what I'm gonna call this, the wisdom of the books. For years, there have been basically 2 sets of books kept on planet Earth. The set for the elite were called textbooks, and they contain the truth. The set of books for ordinary people were known to the elite as X-texts, which means bad text or text filled with disinformation and propaganda with just a tiny bit of real truth to give them some sense of credibility. This book is in the for real text format, and it is not just for the elite. It's for everyone, for all the humans living on the earth everywhere without regard to caste or race or sex or anything else. This has not been done before, and the author must confess that he went through a good bit of interference from various sources in the process of preparing this book, which has been his life's work. Therefore, I trust that the generations who will use this book will share with me some of the joy and fulfillment that I have experienced in the process of preparing this material. I'm going to skip all this about the master code because that's something else. I want to get to the, hold on, let's see. I'm going to get to the end cycle. Okay. Now this is the end cycle. And remember, this is some excerpts from the wisdom of the books. The books that have now been opened to humanity. Well, some of humanity, you know, you got to be on that frequency. The end cycle. And this is exactly what I had been talking about. And I had never seen this before. I've never heard of the end cycle, but this is exactly how it's explained to me, is that when you go on the left hand path, the service to others path, the service to self path, which is the do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, which is really what majority of the people who are dealing right now in witchcraft, voodoo, black magic, that when I was teaching this and I was telling people get from over there, but you know, it's a lot of people was like, oh no, you know, you scared of your own stuff and African spirituality. Well, first of all, we ain't even from Africa. Majority of us not even from Africa. We're from here, America. So what is that you're doing? I discovered that it was a trick and a trap, in particular for carbonated beings, carbon beings. So they're over there, and because it speaks to ego, you know, this is where you lose people, because, you know, everybody want to feel powerful. Everybody want to feel like they're the chosen ones. Everybody want to feel like they're the best of the best. And I get that, but once again, that's why we have to do our ego work, because there's a part of us that has to actually humble down just a little bit, just enough to be able to get the information and say, wow, okay, so this was a trick. This was a trick, because these beings who have been here for eons know human nature. For one thing, they're the ones who created these bodies. This is why you can't really take it with you when you get ready to ascend up out of here. You can't really take it with you, because they're the ones who manipulated and created it. They're the ones who created DNA. DNA is a soul trap. It's a soul cage. So you have to be able to outwit them and be able to get up out of here. But anyway, getting back to the point was, there's only one way to source. So you can go all out around the corner, down the street, but you're still going to have to come back the same way that the service to others people go. Okay? So it's really not benefiting you unless you just want to have the experience of being here in struggle and strife and all of that. Have at it. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to still come the path that we're walking right now. Okay? This right here explains it in the book. Pure spiritual. Okay, so we call this the end cycle because, as you can see, it looks like the letter N. This is the cycle most people go through as humans. The vertical path on the left, this is it right here. See this? This is the vertical path. This is what most people go through as humans. The vertical path on the left is the left hand path. Left hand path. Do what thou wilt. Voodoo. Narcissism. You know, just doing whatever makes you happy, and you're not worried about the collective. You're not worried about nobody else. Remember I say, all life is sacred. That's why we don't eat the animals. And if you're not including them, then you're over here. Okay? The vertical path on the right, which is right here, this is the right hand path. Now, I immediately, as soon as I heard it, I said, oh, this is service to self. This is service to others. So, before I even read all of this, let me tell you what I saw. Where everybody goes, because they're in their ego, and then it takes them so many different lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of reincarnating and coming back before they hit this place right here. And then they realize, oh shoot, I can't get out, because that say no exit. So then I'm going to go all the way back down. Now, I explained this in a couple of my posts. You're going to have to backtrack. You're going all the way back down where you passed. Okay? This is the descent that a lot of these people who are here right now on 3D, who are service to self, they're getting ready to experience this. This is the dissension. Okay? We're experiencing ascension. They're going to Go back down and experience descension, which means everything that you've been sowing, you will now reap. So everything's going to reverse. So you've been doing great stealing from people. You've been doing great being a little parasite. You've been doing great just taking. All the takers. And it got you all the way up here. And then the purifier, the adjudicator, Nibiru, the sixth son, is coming in. And it's going to level the playing field. You're going to give everything you took back. And you're going to start your ass from scratch. And then you're going to realize, damn, you can't get out of here playing this game this way. You can't win this way. You cannot win. So when you learn your lesson, and this is going to take lifetimes too, you're going to descend until you're going to hit rock bottom. And that's when you're going to decide, I better play the game right. And then you're going to ascend out. Okay. So let's read it. The slope line between paths, left hand path, right hand path, represents the fall that people on the left hand path must eventually take. Left hand path right now, my sister winning. She winning. Let me tell y'all what I what I had to discover, which was a part of my training as well. So y'all remember when I was like, wow, this heifer is taking everything. Like she done stole all the insurance money. She done figured out how to like swindle me out of everything and push me out of everything because she feels like she's entitled to it because my mom ended up staying with her. Now she'll tell people that she took care of my mom for 10 years. But the fact of the matter was my mother was supposed to stay with me 6 months out every year and 6 months with her. But because me and my mom ended up having a little rift, and she decided she wanted to go back up there really with my sister because my sister's husband was never home. And she felt like it was just her and my sister. They would go out and do stuff. It was just them two. And here it was me, my husband, my son, you know, and I was busy being a mom, a wife and all of that. And my mom felt like the third wheel. And so she really took a situation and just blew it out of proportion. And we ended up falling out. So, you know, because she just wanted to be there with my sister. I guess she didn't know how to say that. But so my sister, she ended up staying up there with my sister. But when my sister decided to divorce her husband, and then she got back out in them streets, honey, she no longer hung with my mom, no longer took her places. She was entertaining downstairs. And so my mom started calling me and crying about being lonely, which I understood. And I forgave my mom. I ain't hold no grudge against her because I knew where she was coming from. But at the same time, she just handled it wrong. I ain't hold no grudge. But in the meantime, you know, my mom was getting, her knees was going bad, so she couldn't travel. So that meant she couldn't come down here. So she ended up being stuck up there with my sister. But, you know, me and my mom made up. Me and my sister, we just, you know, started back talking just, you know, just because we were sisters. But, long story short, it just happened that my mom ended up just being up there, but that wasn't what the original plan was. But my sister feels like she's entitled, and she feels it's like she made me out to be the villain, as if it's like I guess she had this plan that she was going to steal all the insurance money because she felt like she deserved it. And so now she had to make me look like the villain and start creating this smear campaign to tell everybody or convince everybody why she feels entitled to get all the insurance money. So anyway, this heifer ended up stealing all the insurance money, just being nasty to me. And I couldn't understand why, because she knew the story, the backstory, but she wasn't telling people. So she had to go with this little scenario that she had created. So I'm sitting here going, the audacity of you, the audacity. I ain't did nothing to nobody. I'm over here raising my son, you know, my autistic son, doing the best that I can. And here you are going to swindle me out of the insurance money, which my mama had always told us when she passed away, we each was going to get $24,000. I don't know what that girl did to where she ended up figuring out she got power of attorney. My husband said she couldn't change it, but I don't know. Who knows? You know, she's a narcissist. And you know, like I said, the scales are tilted towards the narcissist. They will always win in this realm because they father the devil, and this is his damn domain. So they win on every level. So after I finished getting mad, and I was like, you know what? I said, I'm going to do something to her. And I was really finna dust off my damn altar. I'm going to be honest. I was going to dust off my altar. But I allowed myself to get angry. I allowed myself to fume. I'm talking about I got so mad I was crying. And it was not about the money. It was the fact that this heifer really just took from me. Like, I was telling her, if I got to sign the money over, I will sign it over, but you're not going to just take my money. Just like Debo my shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was feeling some kind of way about that. And I was feeling like that was so unfair of her to just Debo and just snatch it. I deserve this money. No, okay. So once I realized that there was nothing that I could do legally, and of course I can't put my hands around her throat because she's way up there in Atlanta, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this to, I'm going to invoke cosmic justice, because divine justice or cosmic justice is the same thing, because of the fact that it's unfair. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't care what lies you're telling people and what they believe. You know what the truth is, and so do I. And so I just invoke cosmic justice against her, you know, and I said, bring her karma quick, fast, and in a hurry. So now while she thinks that she done sailed the way out into the sunset and stole everything, she's getting ready to lose everything. And I remember the words of Yeshua, which was, you can be mad, you can be angry, but do not sin. Don't do nothing that will cause you to incur karmic debt. That's pretty much what that says. Do not do anything that will cause you to incur karmic debt. So I was like, okay. After I finished getting mad, I went on ahead and did what I had to do as far as, you know, invoking karmic justice and, you know, putting all that out there into the atmosphere, because, you know, your mouth, your tongue is very powerful. So what you declare and decree, when you declare and decree a thing, that's all you really have to do is say it. And I said it with conviction. You know, I made sure that I was, you know, I checked all my stuff, and I was like, I'm not wrong in this, but the scales need to be balanced because this is unfair. The scales need to be balanced. So went on ahead and did that. Now, what you gonna see? Because with the sixth sun coming in, this is now getting ready to start bringing all the karma for all these people that's been on the left hand path. Do what thou will. Do whatever you want to do. Just do and take and just, okay. Long story short, karma coming. Okay. This is what this means. This is the fall that people on the left hand path must eventually take. In this cycle, oh shoot, let me see. In this cycle, people thinking about occult, psychic stuff first go on the left because it's easier. And I remember telling somebody this. Hold on, I hope y'all can see this. Hold on. Oh shoot, I wanted to make my little box bigger. Can I do it? No. Okay, so I'm going to read it. You can't see it, but I'm going to read it. Okay, so in this cycle, people think about occult, psychic stuff. First go on the left hand path because it's easier. It's easier and it feels good. You know, people love to have their ego stroked. This is why a lot of people, they get drunk with power. You know, they get over there into, and a lot of narcissists get over into occult. You know, I watched the narcissist who did call herself my friend. I thought she was a friend, but I watched her after we fell out. She got over there into black magic, and I was talking to her husband, and her husband was telling me, you know, how she always reading all these occult books, buying all this stuff. Yeah, she was really trying to do what came natural to me. What comes natural to me doesn't come natural to her. She had to learn that. So she was learning, and she was going to Papa Legba. She was all at the crossroads doing stuff against me, you know, to stop me, only because she was just jealous. Just like most narcissists are. Most narcissists are jealous of your light. They're jealous of the way people take to you, the way people like you, love you, the way you interact with people. They're just jealous of your light, you know. And my sister was the same way. Very, very envious and jealous and hateful. And, you know, it's like They just want to make you, they don't care what it is. They just want you to be unhappy. They can't stand to see you getting, living your life and being a good person and still getting everything you want and need. But everything for them is a competition. So a lot of times they end up over in black magic because they want to tip the scales more in their favor. They want to exert power over you. They want to be able to manipulate you more, and they relish in that shit. They love that. I mean, I used to listen to her and it was just like, man, this was before we fell out. And I would listen to this narcissist, not my sister, this other narcissist. And I would listen to her. I'm making a puppet and I'm making a puppet doll. And I'm like, what the hell? Why are you making that for? Because see, I was over there to learn what my power was, but I was using my power for like prosperity rituals and banishment. Yeah, to get stuff off me and anybody else who needed help. This help over here talking about I'm putting my blood in a puppet and I'm doing this, that, and all the other with my blood. And I'm sitting here going, what the hell? That's the difference between her and me. She was ready to take that shit to another level. Like she was on that Aleister Crowley type stuff, like that black magic stuff. And I immediately knew right then that was the difference between she and I. She was getting drunk with power. It was like, yeah, I'm going to do this to that person. I'm going to do that to that person. And I know she did a puppet of me. I know she did something. She was telling me she's going down and having readings done about me. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, back to the point. People think it's easier. They can use drugs and other artificial helpers like LSD to accelerate their progress. Eventually, they long for more and they find that the spiritual regions are off limits to them because there is no exit from the left-hand path to the pure spiritual regions above. So they must come all the way down again and begin anew on the right-hand path. So you see that? There is no exit. There was one brother that I saw, a lot of people still follow this brother. And I remember telling people, of course, I'm not popular with the masses, not popular because I do not appeal to people's ego. I appeal to getting back to source, which is dying to yourself. And people don't want to hear that because they want to feed their ego. But here's the thing. When you feed the negative ego turns into an egregore. It becomes a being and it has a life of its own. And if you do not continue to feed that egregore, if you do not continue to feed what it asks for, it will turn around and feed on you, which is what the Ouroboros actually is. The snake eating its tail, because that demon, that narcissistic demon, which the Native Americans described as a demon with a tiny mouth but a big stomach, which means it's never satisfied. So it's going to keep asking and keep wanting and keep eating and keep devouring, and you can't feed it fast enough. And pretty soon, if you're not able to feed it fast enough, it's going to turn around and eat itself. It's going to eat you. Okay? That's what that is all about. And so once that happens and you get all the way down to nothing, then you're going to have to come back and incarnate again and realize that, hey, I can't go that route. I'm going to have to go the positive route, which it may not be as fun as the other route, but it's the way out. Nevertheless. Okay. So both the left and right hand path have gurus and masters who help. Okay. This is what I be talking about when I tell y'all. I know y'all hear me always talking about them pseudo spiritual teachers, right? That are always saying, you don't have to do nothing, fam. Just keep your vibes high. Eat what you want, fam, because you way above that. You gods and goddesses. And I be telling y'all, and I know I sound like the hater, but I'm here. I'm on the quick path, the narrow path. I'm on the path trying to show you this is the exit. The way they're showing you is the do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Just do what you want to do. If it feel good, do it. Keep your vibes high. Just do it because it feel good. You want to eat that meat? Go on, eat it because you feel good. You know you above the law. No, you're not. No, I'm here to tell you, you're not above cosmic law. You're not above galactic law. Nothing that you can say or do puts you above universal law. I'm trying to explain this to y'all. The three of y'all that's here that actually get it, because I be seeing some of y'all over there listening to that shit. I'll be like, look, that's your business. That's your business, because you're going to resonate to what's in you. If you have not been doing the work, if you have not been personally holding yourself accountable, if you have not been looking at your reflection in the mirror, and I'm talking about your spiritual reflection, if you have not been doing that work, then of course everything I say, you brush that shit off, and you're going to go find the teachers that's going to, these are equivalent to the pastors and the people, the preachers who are over there ear tickling. People love to hear that. Y'all be down there in that amen section. I'll be seeing you in the comments. Preach God, speak God. These are the same people. All these are the same people that's in the church, that's on the left-hand path, saying, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. You know, but like I said, that's your business. You're going to resonate with where you are. Wherever you are spiritually is what you're going to resonate with, which is why a lot of people, they don't resonate with these high frequency teachings. You may think, oh, some of these people who are preaching the truth, they don't have a whole lot of followers. You may think that's because people don't like them or people don't listen to them. No, people can't hear them. That's what the fact is. People cannot hear them. Yeah, people cannot hear them, because this right hand path preaching, this right hand path information is the same reason why in the upper room Yeshua only had 5 or 6 people. Those were the ones who he revealed himself to, and they knew exactly who he was. But think about all the masses that he went around talking to. This is equivalent to us speaking on Facebook, and you get all these people, you know, that see your stuff, but it just does not resonate because it's not where they are spiritually and frequency wise. All right. So it says both have certain ethical guidelines for masters and students. Masters from the left have similar powers with masters from the right, and this is exactly correct. They can do miracles and wonders too. Remember Aaron and who was it, Aaron and Moses? And then they went to see this is what they're telling you in the Bible. They were showing you that when Moses took out the rod and he turned it into a snake, the Pharaoh's magicians did the same thing. Because these people they both have powers. This is why you can go over here on the left-hand path and see Aleister Crowley doing stuff, magical stuff. You know, but their stuff, remember the Netflix movie Magicians, and I always use that as an example to show you there are some who are born with it and there are some who are learned. They are learned, and they can learn how to do this stuff. And you will be sitting there going, oh my God, this is the prophet. She can read my mind. Oh my God, she's tapped into the ancestors. Oh my God, she knows this, that, and the other. Whole time I'm looking at this person going, but you can't see this a demon? You can't see that. Okay. All right. It's going to take you a little while before you be able to read energy and not look at parlor tricks, because we all can do parlor tricks. Somebody said to me the other day, I want to see you do some real magic. And I was like, okay, but I knew that this brother was sincere. But I told him, I said, I don't do parlor tricks. I used to in the beginning when I was over there dibbling and dabbling over there in the black magic. I had to go and learn what my powers are and what my limitations were as well. But I got over there and realized I ain't supposed to be over here not like that. Shoot, I was over there to learn a little bit and then jump my tail out. But I mean, I can do parlor tricks and say, hey, these are my powers and this is who I am. But why? Because that's going to draw the wrong people. That's going to draw people who just want to see you do, turn tricks, and pimp out what I used to tell people. I'm not pimping out my God for you. They used to be like, oh, I want you to pray for such and such and I need you to do nothing. No. You do your own work. And that's what I tell people. You do your own work. You get your own pendulum and you start working with your own pendulum. You get your frequency the way you're supposed to be, and you too will be able to get answers and information. No, I don't do readings, and that's nothing against anybody who does readings, but I feel like, why should you hire a middleman to speak to yourself? Why should you hire a middleman to get information that you are privy to? You need to go and sit your tail down long enough to open up those lines of communication so that you can hear yourself. That's the whole point in this. Why get a third party? You don't need a third party mediator. Because number one, that frequency is interfering with your transmission. I wouldn't want nobody in between me and what my higher self have to say to me. Because it could be distorted. You don't know what that person dealing with. So I never understand the readings. I don't. Those are parlor tricks in my opinion. That's just me. But anyway, we finna wrap it up. Okay, so they have the same abilities, but the good or right hand. Okay, so no, I'm wrong. Masters from the left have similar powers with masters from the right. However, masters from the left will use their powers to get whatever they want, and masters from the right will not. Just like I just informed you about that girl talking about, I'm making a poppet, I'm gonna put my blood on the poppet, and I'm like, for what? Because she wanted to manipulate. She just wanted to manipulate people. I mean, and I could hear it in her voice that she was getting drunk with power. She wanted to make people bend to her will. And I was like, I ain't even on that type of stuff. So anyway, they have the same abilities, but the good or right hand path masters use very tight restraints on their powers and will only use them. Okay, but the good or the right hand path masters use very tight restraints on their powers and will only use them on rare and highly justifiable occasions. Case in point, when I said that my sister had made me so mad and I was about to dust my altar off, look here, my altar has been covered up with sheets. It is null and void right now. You know why? Because I don't have to do, I don't feel like I have to go and do anything because, number one, prosperity. I mean, what do I need? I eat good every day. I don't have to get up and go nowhere. So I don't need a whole bunch of clothes. I don't need anything. So I don't need to go and do prosperity rituals. At this point, it would just be being greedy. I don't, my life is good. I don't have enemies per se. So I don't have to really go and do no work. Now, when my sister raised her head up, I was like, oh, bitch, I'm finna get you. I'm finna dust this doggone altar off. And I'm finna bring the thunder. And in the middle of that, I was corrected. Because it would have been baneful at that point. So I gave myself time to calm down and get myself back into a higher state of mind. A higher frequency state of mind. And I allowed my heart, I gave myself time. I allowed my heart to have compassion for her because, she don't know what she's doing. She really don't. She's getting what she can because that's her source of, it's a word. That's her source of happiness. Like when you're not connected to source, then you have to use external means in order to have happiness. So I'm sitting back going, okay, all this money, yeah, it got to buy you happiness because you have nothing else. For me, when my 12-year-old son gets up every day and I look at him and I see myself in him, I have joy every day. I have joy in knowing that I'm not out here slaving for the man, that I have leisure and luxury. Now, I may not have, the fancy hair and nails and stuff, but if that's what I wanted, I know that I very well could get that. But I'm not even on that no more. The things that make her happy don't make me happy. So I was like, you know what? Whatever you got, baby, take it and use it. Make yourself happy because that's it. That's all, baby. When it's gone, that's it for you. And you're going to be right back to where you started from. So I had compassion for her in that aspect and I felt, kind of sorry for her, but and I decided to go and cover my altar back up and let cosmic justice have its way because it definitely is on the way. All right, so let's not get lost. Let me get back on it real quick so I can end this. Okay. Masters from the left. Okay, so we already said. But the good and right hand path, Monet masters, use very tight restraints on their powers and will only use them on rare and highly justifiable occasions. Right? It got to be good. It got to be a reason for me to go there on somebody, and I haven't had a reason in a very long time. So anyway, the book, Tibet's Great Yogi, Milarepa, Local Stock, GB 260 by Evans Wentz, available through Oxford University, is the story of a man who became a master of the left-hand path and then realized his limitations and gave that up and became a master of the right-hand path, all in one lifetime. And this is what I mean. Excuse me. Usually, it takes several lifetimes for you to get to that point. Several lifetimes of you coming back and trying to do it, trying to outsmart the system, and trying to outsmart. You can't outsmart this creation. You cannot outsmart the universe. You cannot outsmart universal law and principle, the law of cause and effect, because what's tied to that is heart frequency and intention. Whatever your intention is what sets the frequency. And when you put that negative frequency out, doing baneful magic, doing magic that's only for self-interest and self-gratification, it's going to come back tenfold and it's going to slap you right back down. And you're never going to be able to get out. And there are true limitations. There really are. That's why that girl reading them books and stuff, and I was laughing. And I had to tell her husband, I said, it's a damn shame. I said, I wake up with this. I said, this is why I don't be stressing. I'm not stressing about you. I'm not ever worried about you and what you're going to learn to do, because whatever you're going to do is going to be a surface, a surface infliction. That's it. It's going to be a minor infliction on me. You can't really do shit to me because I'm so far outside of your reach. You can only go so far. And that's what I told her. I said, on 3D, you might have something in 3D. You can throw your little sticks and stones and do all your little stuff in 3D. But my power excels that. It goes far beyond that. So, bitch, if I want to blow your roof off your house, trust and believe I can. But what for? What for? You're not even worth my energy or my time. And go ahead and do your little stuff. Go ahead and go to Papa Legba. Go ahead and go over there and, give offerings. And that was another thing. I was like, come on, if you got to give offerings to a darn negative entity to do some work that you really can do yourself, that really shows that you ain't shit. And you going down to the bottom of the barrel. If anything, I would be working with the higher entities because they have more reach. They have more. I mean, their power is eternal. And that's a difference. You remember what the lady said? One's eternal, one's immortal. And the difference is immortals have to take their energy from something else. They have to usurp in order to be energized. So you have to take in order to get. And that's what I used to see black magic as. You have to give something in order to get something. You have to literally, y'all out here giving offerings. And like I said, it ain't no shade to it. This is what you have to do in 3D. In this realm, it's a parasitic realm. So you have to give a negative entity something to get something. No. Why? Why? You don't have to give nothing. Do your own inner work and then you will be able to do it. Well, some of y'all ain't got the connections. Some people don't have the connections. So you got to do what you can in 3D. Making poppets and putting your blood on the poppets and go out in the graveyard and doing all that stuff. Man, come on. Come on. That is not your shit. That is not benevolent. That is not benevolent. That is doing what you can in a devilish, backwards realm. You get what I'm saying? And that is not the way you get out of here. That's the way you stay. That's the way you keep coming back in cycles. And that's why they appeal to you. They try to come to you and say, hey, you want to do what you want to do, don't you? You want to feel good. You want to have a lot of money. You want to have a lot of women. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to be able to manipulate people and have them do your bit, and all this stuff. And that appeals to the negative ego. Okay. So anyway, it says, so anyway, you don't have the luxury of time. You do not have the luxury of time right now. So choose the right hand path and save yourself a lot of misery. Now that's the way they ended that. And I'm going to let it be that. That is exactly right. For the people who on the left hand path, I was laughing at that girl. And I know she's somewhere around here in this Patreon pretending to be somebody else just so she can find out what I'm talking about. Baby, if you out there and you still over there on that left hand path, trust and believe in the next 7 to 11 years, In the next 7 to 11 years, you're going to fall. You're going to hit rock bottom. And everybody else that was with you and everybody else that be around there trying to manipulate situations and circumstances. Everybody else who been on that, see, y'all think that it's just a coincidence that all of a sudden African spirituality came back and you discovering your powers and abilities and all that. No. I told y'all they do this every Yuga cycle. Every Yuga cycle, at the end of a cycle, witchcraft, different kinds of African spirituality, all of that stuff comes back. It makes a recurrence because they know that is like their last trump card to play. And that is a way how they can get people to give their soul up. Because see, every time you're doing those rituals, every time you're doing and you're connecting with those negative entities, you are establishing contracts, implied consent contracts, soul contracts. And those are soul traps for you. So yeah, you'll be back here to do another bit. And like the man said, you don't have the luxury of time, so choose the right hand path. Y'all chose the left hand path, so you're going to deal with it. Misery is on the way. Karma coming. Peace, love, and blessings. Divine Naga.